everyone, what is up? Welcome back to my channel. I hope you all are doing well, and I'm going to apologize in advance if you hear a lawnmower outside. It has been quite some time since I have sat down to speak with you, and for good reason, and we're going to talk a little bit about it in this video. So this is one of those that you can just put on in the background while you're cleaning, or I don't know, walking or driving or whatever, because that's what I like to do when I listen to certain YouTube videos. But as you see from the title, I'm going to talk a little bit about getting older, growing pains, success, failure, just life in general, I guess, and not really a life update, but just kind of like what's been going on with me a little bit. To start off, back in December, my boyfriend brought it to my attention that I was different and I was not happy, and I was not the same person that he met a few years ago, and something seemed off, right? So initially I was really defensive and was like, what are you talking about? I'm fine, whatever. But as I took the time to really like think about what he said, he was right. He was absolutely right. And it brought me back to years ago. I was probably still a teenager. My sister and I would always notice when there was a woman who we would consider like a middle-aged woman, usually at work at some type of establishment, and she would be cranky, like not nice, moody. And now as you get older, like you can usually tell when someone is not happy with their life. You can tell when they don't like their job. You can tell when they don't want to be there. You can just tell something's off. And I had to ask myself, like, oh my God, am I turning into that woman that I said I would never be? And I think I was. And I think going through 2020 and everything that happened that year, and then the following year, it was just a lot. It was a lot for me. I think it was 2020 when I started therapy, and I did therapy for about 9 months. But what happened with therapy was the therapist that I had, she dug up all this stuff and then didn't really give me the tools to like clean it up. So I was here with mess that I was aware of but didn't necessarily know how to fix or leave in the past or whatever. Now it's just in the forefront of my day-to-day in my mind, topped with just my current life, and it was hard and I didn't realize what was happening, but I'm grateful to him for pointing it out to me. And I would say if someone in your life is like telling you that, don't just brush it off, and really like take into consideration what they're saying and why, and go inward if you need to journal, because I definitely did that. I started journaling, praying, and just trying to figure out what the heck was going on with me. But I realized that a lot of my anxiousness and just grumpiness revolved around me not being present. So it was me focusing on these things that happened in the past, or being anxious and fearful about the future. I would say being present is probably one of the best things you can do to limit negative thoughts and limit anxiety if you're prone to it. And I know it's so much easier said than done, but I will say I do recommend therapy if you have not tried it yet. You just want to make sure you find the right therapist for you. And with that being said, the therapist that I initially had, I worked with her for 9 months and then cut that tie, and now I have a new therapist who is an older man, which was very different. I never thought that I would want that as a therapist, but you never know who you're going to click with. It's just nice to like try it out and see how it works for you. And definitely you want someone who is going to give you tools to get through your day-to-day if you're like struggling and you feel stuck, or you feel like your life is looping and you don't know how to break out of it. You want to be able to get the tools to use to fix it. So yeah, there's that. Then another thing, okay, so after that was brought to my attention, I decided that I'm going to change my life. And this sounds so like big and okay, like, and I mean change my life in every way. physically, mentally, emotionally, financially, my relationships, where I live, everything. I said, you know what? I'm going to change my life. And I always hear my boyfriend's voice in the back of my head, and he likes to remind me, like, you can change your life in a year. You can change your life in a year. And I believe him, and for the first time, I'm actually attempting to. Last year, not to put his business out there, but I'm sure he's proud of it anyway, he was able to lose 100 pounds, and so proud of him. And I remember at the beginning of the year, he said he wanted to lose 100 pounds in the year. He hopes he could get close, and he was just hopeful. And I was like, oh, you can do it before then. I was very optimistic about it, and he did. I think he hit his 100-pound mark maybe like halfway through the year. And so that just goes to show, and I use it as an example because dropping 100 pounds is a big deal. He had to buy a whole new wardrobe. He carries himself completely different now, and it changed his life. And it changed his life. And it might seem like that's a small thing to some people, but it's not. And if you've ever lost a significant amount of weight or gained a significant amount of weight, you know how much it can affect your day-to-day. So I do listen to him when he says that to me. It reminds me, you can change your life in a year. And I have some pretty big goals, and some of them are things that I've just never attempted to do before. And at first I thought about documenting all of that, but there are some things that I'm working on that my family doesn't even know about that I'm really excited about. So I was like, I'm not going to share it. And I know some people believe that, you know, sharing your goals is good. Other people can keep you accountable. But for me, I've realized that when I do share my goals a little too soon, for whatever reason, I don't always follow through with them. And when I decide to do something, especially if it's for me, it's deeply for me, for no one else, I want to keep it to myself until I finish it, and then I can share it. So that's what I'm doing now. I decided I'm going to change my life in a year in these ways. And what I did was I just wrote down very tangible goals, and I broke it up into the 4 quarters of the year to just make it easier and not feel overwhelmed, and to make sure I can actually accomplish these goals. Years ago, when I worked for Lululemon, I learned how to actively goal set. I became a goal coach. I know what typically works when it comes to setting goals. The first thing you have to do is set a goal. You have to write it down. The majority of people don't do that, believe it or not. And most of the time when you do set a goal, when you write it down, when you have a plan, you end up achieving the goal sooner than you expected or planned for. I've watched it happen over and over and over again. So I'm really excited about that. And that's just a tip, I guess, if you've been struggling with your goals, or if you set goals at the beginning of the year and they just seem so big, just try to break them up into smaller increments and see if you can achieve them that way. So now I'm going through the year. It is April now, and my son just had a birthday, and he's 9. And so I don't know if it's just me. Let me know if you're a parent, but the growing up of your children, or like them getting older, it kind of just puts your life into perspective a little more, because it's like, oh my God, he's already 9, but that means 9 years of my life have gone by too since I've had him. And I'm thinking so much more about me and my life, and the life I want to live, and the person that I want to become, and what my life might look like once he is gone to college, or just an adult and not in my house anymore. And I think it is important. And let me know in the comments if you're a mom with, you know, adult children, grown children, and how did you maintain you and your life and your identity outside of your children, so that when it was time for them to go on with their life, you still had so much in you and so much to show, you know, outside of being a mom and, like, you know, raising a human, because that is the most important job to me. But I know at some point he's not going to need me in the same way he needs me now. So I need to know who I am and what I'm doing and where I'm going in my life. And it's just something I've been thinking about. So with him having another birthday, I'm about to have another birthday, and I will be 34 this year. And I was never the type of person that, like, was scared to get older or anything like that. I have a bunch of gray hairs. I don't like that. You can probably see them. I do dye my hair black because I'm just not ready for that. But other than that, I don't mind. But I am starting to feel little things, changes in my body, changes with how my body feels after I eat certain things. Just really paying attention, my skin, my sleep, all these things that people tell you to pay attention to. I'm paying attention to them now, and as excited as I am to get older, I'm also want to make sure that I do age gracefully. So I've been just trying to take a little bit better care of myself, and just be conscious of what I'm doing on a day-to-day basis. So I've been going through some growing pains, but I know that I'm going to come out on the other side of it just wiser. And so I'm just trying to take things day by day. I'm going to be putting up a favorites video after this video, so I'm going to share with you some of the things that I've been using and loving over the past few months. And yeah, I do miss being on Instagram. I do miss making my YouTube videos, and I'll probably try to get back to YouTube videos because with some of the things I've been working on, they're just so like in my brain, like, and YouTube is more of a creative outlet for me. And yeah, if there's anything that you would like to see, let me know in the comments. I miss doing these type of videos. It's been years since I just sat down and like just talked about what was on my mind, but I used to do it all the time. So yeah, that is it for this video. Thank you all so much for watching, and I will see you next time. Bye.